Once again, that was the smoothest intro of all time. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to yet another match reaction show. We are here on the Sunday after Bristol City's disappointing and defeat again at West Brom. It is now 5 defeats in 6 for Liam Manning. Pressure is piling in on the ex-Oxford United manager. Excuse me. I am joined, as always, by Matiss to help me with my therapy session, which is now weekly. Matiss, how are you doing, and how do you feel? With a bit more time to reflect on yesterday's trip to the Hawthorns.
Yeah, I mean, my feeling's not really the same over the past few weeks. Obviously, we won at home against Swansea, but still a kind of negative performance. And yesterday was more of the same of what we've seen over the past couple months. And yeah, it was just quite a boring game, to be honest, from our perspective. Didn't have much going forward at all, barely any chances. And yeah, just it was a pretty simple game for West Brom. They got 2 relatively easy goals and they kind of wrapped up the game, and we really had no threat. We looked poor and just again, nothing moving forward. The chances that we had, I think, could have done better, like in some situations. We'll get onto that, but overall just really poor. And it's a tough side, we know, but yeah, we tried to kind of sit back a bit, move on the counter, but didn't really work, and ended up being another loss and our 5th in our last 6 games. So yeah, not great at all.
Well, we'll get straight into it then. This was the team for Bristol City. Max O'Leary in goal, Russell Crawley, Rob Dickey, Zach Vine, Hayden Roberts, who came in for Cam Pring, Taylor Gardner-Hickman, Andy King comes in for Joe Williams. He's a little injury, so I wouldn't be too concerned by that. Jason Knight, Mark Sykes, Alice Mametti, and Tommy Conway were the front players. For Albion, it was Alex Palmer back for Daniel Furlong, Cedric Kipray, Eric Peters, Con Townsend, Okoye Kuzlu, Alex Samoa, Mikey Johnston, who was one of the top players, one of the form players in the Championship at the moment, scoring every shot he has, basically. Grady Diangana, Tom Fellows, and Jed Wallace. Your take on that C team, please?
I would say no problems. You mentioned Williams' injury. Is that, I don't really know too much information on that. Is that
well, Manning said it was like a minor one, so he'll hopefully be back for Leicester, given that it's a two-week gap between now and then.
Exactly. Yeah, we got the international break now. Since Williams is out, obviously Matty James still injured, so King is probably the only other player we'd put in that position, and otherwise it's pretty given. I don't think Pring's been that impressive recently after he came back from his minor injury. So yeah, I just a bit of rotation, putting Roberts in, starting Conway as well, and the rest pretty the norm for me. I was pretty happy with how he laid up, and then Twine back in the squad as well. He was there last week as well, but obviously today he got to play again, and then just the likes, Tanner, Pringwells, Cornick, and a couple youngsters. Who's in Merholtz?
He's been on the bench. No, he's been on the bench a couple of times. I think he's not on the bench at the start of the season. So yeah, hopefully, maybe he might get more help. But yeah, he was definitely on the bench earlier in the season. I thought Hayden Roberts was actually quite impressive when he came on against Swansea, so no problems with that. And as you said, Camping hasn't particularly been too impressive, but it's no issues on my part. We'll talk about the game then. Just nothing happening from both sides' perspective, really. Just really quite drab. Oh, and by the way, let you know let your thoughts in on the team news in the live chat section if you're watching here on YouTube. We'll start with the game then. Kind of flat, not really much happening for either side. You'd have kind of expected that. West Brom are not compared to the other teams in the top 4 at least. they're not your free flowing side. They're very good defensively. They've got a good shape and they can definitely direct when going forward. And the pace they've got out wide and Fellows and Johnston is really important to them. And they've got a good midfield, and which helps them protecting Kuzlu and Mowat. So it wasn't really going to ever be a quite open game. And as we've seen on the evidence of Liam Manning's tenure so far, and even previous to that, Bristol haven't been successful in breaking down sides who have got a very good structure about them, even if they're not completely, very defensive. And West Brom weren't defensive at all. They were by far the better side in the second half, in particular when they attacked. But it was just when you have a good structure against us, we find it really hard to break it down.
Yeah, definitely. And we've obviously seen that a lot throughout this season since Manning's arrived. What did I want to say? Game. I thought the first half was a bit more even, and I thought we looked quite structured. I think the game plan was obviously to kind of sit more back and have a structured defensive line, and then push on the counter. And I thought for the majority of the first half, we looked decent. We were preventing them from quite a lot of chances, and obviously they didn't have a shot on target until their first goal. So I thought we did well up until obviously the end of the first half. And we had a couple minor breaks. I mean, the one I was mentioning earlier, Conway got put through, was a little touch on from Mehmeti. I'm watching it back now, and then he's through. It's kind of a half touch. He does get quite close to the keeper, and I think he just takes one too many touches, and then it's kind of a poor effort. It's straight into the keeper's chest, and I think in those chances could lift. It's not an easy chance, but I think he could be doing a lot better there. But I mean, we are feeding off little scrappy chances. But yeah, overall in that first half, I still do think we looked okay, and the game plan was going relatively well because we were preventing them. West Brom didn't create too many chances.
Yeah, and ultimately that's the thing, isn't it? When you go away to a side who have only lost 3 home games all season, that's 2 of them were against Southampton and Leicester. It's the kind of game plan you have to go for, and you have to make sure you're quite good defensively and solid. But aside that, you have to also make sure you have to carry a good threat going forward, and we just didn't. Right, Tom Fellows scores his goal on 45, and I'd argue it's probably one of West Brom's brightest attacks of the first half, probably the brightest attack of the first half. It comes right at the end of it. It's a bit of a sucker punch. If you're going in 0-0, it's a totally different game, I think. Bristol probably have a lot more confidence, and a bit like what we did against Swansea, we probably attack a little bit more with a bit more, purpose about us. But going in 1-0 down away at a side who are very good at hanging on to a lead with a good defensive structure, as we've mentioned. Talk us through the goal and also what it kind of meant for half time.
Yeah, exactly. So, as I mentioned, I thought we were decent, and I thought it'd be a decent result to get in a half time 0-0 and then push on in the second half. But yeah, it comes on the left hand side. McCrory gets skinned, and then they kind of just play it around the edge of our box. Our players rush out, but we're kind of all over the place, and they get a couple knock-ons. It is some good movement, and then it gets over to Fellows, and then it's a nice finish. Max can't really do much there. He tries to stick a leg out. It's a good finish, and it's a nice piece of play from them. But we're kind of all over the place. They play it around the edge of around the edge of the box, a few little passes, and 1-0 up, and that obviously dented our confidence massively to go in. It's never good to go in at half time after conceding straight before the break. That kind of set the tone then for the second half as well. So disappointing, but it's a pretty good goal from West Brom. But I think we could have done a little bit better. We looked a bit disorganised as it came around the edge of the box. Yeah,
I'm not sure what Hayden Roberts is doing, to be honest. I was quite impressed with him against Swansea, as I just said, but it could be a little bit better in that particular scenario. I'm not obviously blaming it on him in particular, but I mean, it's a lot of minor mistakes that lead to a massive fault, isn't it? We just look a bit out of shape. We looked a bit stretched, and obviously you do not give a side like West Brom that amount of space. So we go in half time 1-0 West Brom, and again it's 5 minutes in, and we have a knack of conceding early goals in the second half, and it's just you make at 1-0 you're kind of going, we could get something if we are competent in going forward, but it's just so annoying. And especially with the fact that, Michael Johnson, who I mentioned at the start, one of the form players in the Championship, surely he would have been, highlighted as someone to stop from a Mar perspective and stop him from playing, and neutralise him. And we just gave him so much space in the middle of the park. It's literally just one straight ball through our midfield, centre of the pitch. He is in acres of space. And I'm just sat there going, how has this guy got that much amount of space? It is ridiculous. So Johnson's in the middle of the pitch, gets out wide, left-hand side to Colin Townsend. Colin Townsend has the space of the Hawthorns, and just cuts it back. McCrory, again, it's not really his fault because he could have done one of two things, and he was caught in two minds. He could have either tracked Townsend, but that would have left Johnson even more space, or he could have gone with Johnston and left Townsend in even more space. He kind of went halfway between, didn't really do anything eventually, but it's not his fault. I don't know how he's in that much amount of space in the first place, Michael Johnston. Ball goes to Townsend, cuts it across the box. Jed Wallace has for a player of his quality, a very, very simple finish, and it's self-destruction from our perspective. How one of the best players in the Championship has been given that much space in the midfield.
For me, I mean, I've just watched that back, and everything is wrong with this goal from our perspective. Like you said, it's the easiest ball into the middle of the park, and then the fact that I don't know who's on the ball first, number 23, Johnston. He's got the he starts walking basically with the ball, and no one's pressing him. Viner's just watching him, and then, like you said, to be honest, I'd put a little bit of blame on McCrory as well, because I think he should have tracked Townsend. He was kind of just hanging behind Johnson, and then he only makes a last kind of dash when it's too late. But it's obvious that Townsend's gone down the left, and it's just he waits for him, plays the ball through, and then it's just an easy cut back, and Wallace is unmarked, and a tap in for the Baggies. And it's such a poor goal from us to concede, and doubles their lead within 5 minutes, and that's kind of like, okay, well, realistically, we're not getting back from this, and they'll just hold on, and that's what happened. So yeah, really poor, and just after a half time, and we're just sitting there wondering what is going on. So disappointing that was.
I think at that point, a lot of us started going, right, how's that happened? How's that happened again? Why is that not work? Why is this not working? And we'll talk about Liam Manning at the end, I'm sure. After that, I think that's a triple substitution. But right, I'm gonna talk about this quite. I'm gonna have a little bit of a rant on this actually. Triple substitutions, fine, trying to impact the game. However, if you're going to make that triple substitution, you do not do it right after your second goal, basically. Because the quality disparity between us and West Brom is, it's evident. So I don't think that was I agree with the decision to make the triple sub, because I do feel we needed, a little bit more, but the timing of it was wrong and ultimately didn't really affect the game too much. Good managers and good teams and successful teams, even the Championship in particular, they make subs and it works, and they make the subs early, and it's proactive. That's a bit of a cliche. We need to be proactive, not reactive. Maybe that substitution should have come at half time. Maybe double substitution should have come at half time. Might be seen as bold, but something needed to happen. We weren't going to score playing like that, and it was just dismal from my perspective. Anyway, the triple substitution, for anyone wondering, was Scott Twine, who came on, isn't it? Wasn't it? Scott Twine came on. I'm right. Yeah, Scott Twine came on. So Scott Twine came on, Naki Wells came on, and Harry Cornick came on for Andy King, Tommy Conway, and Ani and Matiss. Naki Wells coming on is just pointless at this point, because look, I quite like Naki Wells, but Christ almighty, he's offering nothing. Ani and Matiss, I thought, showed glimpses, but in the first half showed glimpses, but again, too inconsistent. Too Ani and Matiss, weirdly enough. And Andy King, I thought he didn't do too much wrong, but again, look, we needed to chase the game, but still. What are your thoughts on the timing of the triple substitution and the actual substitutes themselves?
Well, I mean, you mentioned that it was quite soon after. I mean, it was 18 minutes after their goals. I think a change was definitely needed. I kind of I'm more of a I'm a bit of an anti Naki Wells hater. Like I don't think he's provided a lot for us, but against Ipswich I thought he was quite sharp and he was unlucky not to score. And I think in certain chances, I don't know, I feel like if Naki had Tommy Conway's chance in the first half, I reckon he puts that away. But I think he has a quality on him that is not completely respected. I don't think he's I think Tommy Conway's a better striker.
Everyone give Matiss abuse. This is ridiculous.
I think he's underrated by the fan base, and by that I don't mean he's our best. I don't think he's our best player, but I think he's not as bad as people put him. And I still think it's probably his last year. Hasn't done too much, but what's Conway? He hasn't offered a lot.
Look, I'm not saying Tommy Conway has been proving himself much more either. I'm not. That's why we're looking at centre forwards.
Yeah.
But my point is, what is the point of bringing Naki Wells on when he's up against? Well, at that point it would have been Carl Bartley and Cedric Kitpray. It's just like they're two giants, and we're hoofing it up top.
But
the
thing is, in most championship teams, most championship teams have massive centre backs, and I feel like it's just to throw something else.
Yeah, well, then that's the game plan. That's on the game plan.
Yeah, but I think it was just to kind of just bring something new to the game, switch things up. Naki can hold the ball up well, try and create something new. It wasn't impactful. It wasn't impactful at all. But I think it's less Naki Wells' fault than
I'm not saying it's Naki Wells' fault, but I'm just saying it's no point.
Yeah.
I just think who might not be here next year, by the way.
Yeah. Well, you think Conway won't stay?
Well,
I reckon he'll be number 2 striker.
If he's not going to sign a new contract, what's the point? You might just cash it. Anyway, that's not the point. So yeah, 18 minutes after the West Brom second, the triple substitution is made. Bristol City start to get a little bit more into the game, I think. Hit the bar a couple of times. It's one of those where we hit the bar, yes, technically, but it didn't really look like it was going in. I think Rob Dickey hit like the top of the bar from a set piece. It was never looked like it was going in, but it kind of like dipped. It did a little bit in there and it went out. It never looked like it was going in. And then Sykes hits a bar, I think, which is unfortunate. But yeah, generally a lot of huffing and puffing. We got better as the game went on. And I wouldn't class it as a complete atrocious performance from our perspective, but it was a lot of the same, basically. And we have to acknowledge that West Brom were a good side, but it was a lot of the same, really. That's what I'd probably argue.
Yeah, it was a very mid performance from our standards, and like you said, it wasn't the worst performance we've had, but it's still below par and just really poor in general. And yeah, we had a couple chances, those crossbar chances. I mean, yeah, like you said, it kind of just bounced off the top of it. Probably needed quite a lot more to actually find its way in the back of the net. But yeah, we brought on Pring and Tanner at the end, like for like substitutions for McCrory and Roberts, just to, yeah, I don't really know what Tanner would have done more there going forward, but
giving Tanner
Pring
minutes,
and then that as well. To be fair, well, McCrory, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's his first minutes for quite a bit now, and McCrory, has he still not done 90 minutes? I feel like he's just always taken off before then. He's still yet to do 90 minutes, but he's getting very close anyway.
Yeah.
And then Twine as well, obviously back. What a loan signing that is. Obviously, no one's fault. It's just unlucky, really. Got that quad injury, but yeah, I was there for his debut. Well, I think we both were, and scored that goal. Yeah, today he couldn't really do too much, but he didn't really have too much of an impact. He was only on the pitch for the end of that second half.
Oh, his set pieces.
Oh, those were
god awful. Terrible.
They could have been so much.
I'm gonna hammer in on Scott Twine because he's terrible at joke.
I was expecting more on those set pieces.
Yeah, those set pieces against Watford improved compared to what we were doing before.
It didn't even get past the first man, yes.
And I think it shows a lot of the time where we when we didn't have Scott, we were like putting Naki Wells on set pieces, and it's just like, really? If Andy Vyman would have still been here, I would absolutely been like, yeah, he's taking set pieces, absolutely, he's giving me that vibe. Scott Twine set pieces were not good, but good to have him back, and hopefully, fully fit against Leicester, maybe perhaps. And
we'll need him. We'll need him if he
starts. Hopefully,
yeah, definitely.
Well, the game kind of fizzles out, which is no real surprise for any of us at the moment. We try and pass it, we try and build it up. I think we have eventually even possession. I think it breaks even, does possession. I mean, 51-49 in there.
It was 54-46.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. But it's better, quite even possession wise. In Bristol City, again, just no attacking finesse, no attacking. What's the word I'm looking for? Cutting edge. No cutting edge in the final third yet again, and another defeat against a good side again. Yeah, good side, but 5 defeats in 6, and not a good recent run for City, basically. Let's move on to the hot topic on City Twitter, and I'm sure general social media. I haven't been keeping up with other social media, but I'm sure Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, WhatsApp. We'll talk about Liam Manning, because there's a lot of discussion around him, isn't there? Some of it fair, some of it completely over the top, a lot of it completely over the top, and a lot of it just completely made up assumptions that are just not true in the slightest. Where do you stand on him? And I suppose the main question is, would you sack Liam Manning?
No, I would not sack Liam Manning, to answer that directly. We had the same conversation last week as well. We obviously had that win, and we mentioned that this shouldn't hide the fact of how we've been playing, and obviously we had today's game, and next game won't be any easier. So yeah, I mean, recently form has been terrible. I just looked 4 wins in our last 18 matches, which is really poor. But yeah, I don't see the point in going against him. Yes, we haven't been perfect, but we haven't been worse than Pearson. If anything, we've been around the same, but I've still seen glimpses of improvement. We've had those games, but not enough. I'm not convinced, but it's no good will be done if we sack him, and it just won't help us at all. It'll just make us play worse, and then we'll just move backwards. So yeah, I think we should keep him, give him a transfer window to sign some players. He's got, I mean, he brought in Twine. I doubt he'll stay, but we'll see.
Mabude?
And Mabude, who didn't play. Yeah, I mean,
we don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, I'd keep him, and I'm not satisfied with how we've been playing and our form and everything. But there's no reason. It's just not gonna. Yeah, it's not gonna bring any good, and it'll mess everything up. So we just got to back him. Our season has been over for quite a few games now. Just get to the end of the season, hopefully improve, and then move into next season. A bit more going, and we know he's not going to get sacked anyway by the board, so there's no point forcing it as well.
What is your? I agree I think I said it would be suicidal to sack Liam Manning. I stand by that. I think it would be completely nonsensical because he's had 4 months in charge with a squad that's not his. And I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot, especially on Twitter. Squad that's not his. He's had 4 months in charge. There's nowhere near enough time to completely change a style of play. And with a mid-table squad, that's ceiling is probably about 10th. We just don't really look, too much different. Again, the context is different. We're different expectations and whatnot. But the point is, he's completely trying to change things up. And recently, he's gone back on his word, which I'm a little bit surprised about. And he's changed his style of play again. He's gone back to a little bit more direct football. He's gone to a little bit more of a kind of Nigel Pearson looking side rather than Liam Manning looking side. Moved away from that style of play, which we were so excited about and looking forward to seeing. And that's largely because of the fact that don't have enough players in the squad who are equipped enough technically to go and play this style of play. Liam Manning wants us to. And that's on the recruitment. That's not on Liam Manning. That's on the recruitment. If they firmly believed, the board, that Nigel Pearson was going to get sacked or going to leave in the near future, and that obviously a large proportion of this squad, like 90% of the squad, was going to be with an ex-manager, then I don't know why they weren't a little bit more flexible with it. We signed a lot of players in the summer who are hardworking. Yes, brilliant, massive trait in football. Quite rare these days, actually. When you're looking to progress, hardworking players in the summer, not particularly gifted talent-wise, versatile. So, we fix a lot of holes with one player. Taylor Garden-Hickman, for example, Jason Knight, for example, Mark Sykes, some before, Cal Naismith, the summer before, Kane Wilson, even, right wing back, right winger. Obviously that didn't work out, but you get my point. Hayden Roberts. So we have kind of mixed up in that department. But the point is, none of them would go and say, you're really good technically, you'd fit in perfectly in a possession-based system, apart from Scott Twine and possibly Matty James and Rob Dickie, maybe actually to a certain extent. None of them I'd go and say, you're really good at this passing style of play, mate. You can go play for X team who are really good at passing the ball around and got strict patterns of play. We're trying to be that. That's why we hired Liam Manning. So if we're not going to give him the players that are going to be able to play this Manning ball, quote unquote, Manning ball, there's no point. Might as well just sack him now then if we're not going to give him the players. Just go back to someone like Nigel Pearson. And it's just a complete mess. And ultimately, we have to back Liam Manning. And if he wants 10 of these players out the door in the summer, okay, goodbye, you're gone. Because if he thinks that 10 of these players are not good enough to play Liam Manning ball, then ultimately there's no point keeping them around because they're not going to be able to fit into the system. And if he wants to bring 10 more players in who he thinks are going to be able to play Manning ball and technically equipped enough to play Manning ball, he thinks Max Bird is, he thinks Josh Stokes is, he thinks Scott Twine is, obviously, he thinks D-Ray and Boudet is. That's why they were brought into the club. So he needs time to implement this style of play, and hopefully a couple of players in this squad, it's proving hard at the moment, but hopefully a few players in this squad, proportion of them, actually, stick around and are equipped enough and get better under Manning. But at the moment, there's no signs of improvement. I think that's the main sticking point with the fans, isn't it? It's just no signs of improvement. And yeah, it feels like we're going backwards, but I just don't think we are. I just think we're stuck in a rut at the moment, and we're kind of stuck in no man's land where Manning was trying to play this style of football, but now it's stopped because these squad of players can't do it. So his kind of plan to maybe implement the style of play slowly has stopped because these players can't do that. We desperately want the summer. Thankfully, we're 8 points off it now, but relegation zone, that is. But we desperately want summer, and we desperately want some of these players to just go, who are probably starting week in, week out for Bristol at the moment. Probably. And that is the major issue, I think. a lot of these players are just not equipped enough. Technically, just not equipped
Would you
enough.
like to name some? Would you like to name some? Just to get an idea. Call them out. Call them out.
Call them out. I really, really hate this squad. I'm joking. Yeah, it's just the squad. The problem is this squad is not bad, but it's been molded to play one way, and they can't play another way. They can't play another way. It's just, and when they try to play another way, they do it really, really, really badly, and that's why we stagnated. Name players.
I say, well, I mean, King's gonna either become a permanent like coaching role or just leave. And I reckon
Matty James.
Yeah, I was gonna say him. I reckon Joe Williams. The thing is,
out of contract.
We'd love to see. It's just not really liable for us to have to completely redo the squad and buy a lot of players, and that's just not going to happen. And I think I'd want Joe Williams to stay if we're going to make get a striker, a midfielder.
Well, if Manning thinks that Williams is able to play in his system, then fine, absolutely try and make him stay. But if not, no point in keeping him around. Just might as well tell him to go.
Cornick as well.
Well, we could be sat here all day, couldn't we, looking at players like Nathan Wells, Harry Cornick, Sam Bell, Tommy Conway, Ani and Matiss, Mark Sykes. And they could all be gone for a different number of reasons, whether there's interest from above. So someone like a Jason Knight, for example, there might be interest from a top championship club because he's been really good for us. But someone like a Harry Cornick, who hasn't really been featured for us. I really like Harry Cornick. I just think he's a brilliant character. And
yeah, but
I like Harry Cornick, but on a footballing basis, like if he's gone, I'm not going to be too displeased. Same with Andy Vyman, really, because same sort of situation. But the point is, we could be sat here all day talking about players, but we don't have all day.
Go on to play rate.
Do we have to?
We can do a quick run through. I mean, they're all pretty.
All right.
For me, at least.
All right. Sure. Go on then.
Well, should we alternate? I'll give my reason, then you just say your number.
Let me whip up the old spreadsheet where I do all my calculations. The computer does it for
the first goal. There was a play in front of Max in goal who did kind of like block his view, but he wasn't, right?
No,
he was.
No,
yeah, Viner was playing him on. Viner was playing him on.
Viner and looked like Zach was playing him on, but the angle, the camera angle, looked pretty crap. All right, you go first for all of them. Max O'Leary.
6. Should I give reasoning or just
quickly go for it? George and Ross McCrory gone.
5.5. I think in one of the goals, I think he could have done better, and he also missed a chance with a shot.
Oh, he did, didn't he? Zach Viner.
6.5. I think he looked.
Robert Dickey.
Just a 6.
Hayden Roberts.
Again, most of these players, I would just give another 6.
Fair enough. Taylor Garner-Hickman on his return to the Hawthorns.
I think in general, the midfield was below par, and obviously we mentioned the easy balls through the middle. So I'll go. I probably even deserves a 5. Yeah, I'll go 5. Taylor Garner-Hickman, a couple of chances why it wasn't great.
Andy King.
5.5. I'll give him. I thought he wasn't as bad when I don't know. He's at the end of his career as well. Can't.
Jason Knight.
6.
Mark Sykes.
6 as well.
To the Tommy Conway.
5.5. Maybe that's harsh because he doesn't get the enough delivery, but in that one chance, I think he should have done better. So yeah, be harsh. Give him 1 point.
Anis Mehmeti to round out the starting 11.
Like you mentioned, it was a bit of a classic Anis kind of game, but yeah, I'll give a 6. It was...
Substitutions then. George Tanner. How long did he play?
He played. Well, he came on in the 84th minute. I don't know if
6 minutes.
Yeah,
that's all right. We'll ignore Campering as well then. Scott Twine.
6. That's pretty average.
Yeah, fair enough. Who were the others that came on? Naki Wells? Yeah, Naki Wells.
Naki Wells. Well, comment below if you agree with me that he's a bit overhated and underrated to an extent that, yeah, I don't think he's an amazing player, but I think he's better than people think he is. But for Naki, I'll go 6. Yeah,
6.
Not too much going forward.
Interesting. Harry Cornick.
5.5.
I'm putting a 10. 10 out of 10 from Harry Cornick. Absolutely magic.
Yeah, comment your play ratings as well in the comments below on the live or afterwards as well. Let us know.
Right, I'll go with mine then. Quick fire. Max O'Leary, I've gone 5.5. Ross McCrory, I'll go 6. Viner and Dickey, I'll both go 6. I thought they were okay. I went McCrory 6, didn't I? Hayden Roberts, I'll go 6. I thought he was okay. Jason Knight, I'll go. Oh, I thought he was okay. I'll go 6.5. I thought he was a little bit better than normal. Taylor Garner-Hickman, I'll go 5.5. I thought he was really poor and arguably lost his head a little bit as well, which is not good to see. Andy King, I'll go 6. I thought he had an average game. Mark Sykes, I'll go 6 as well. A lot of very average performances here. Tommy Conway, I'll go 6. Again, not a lot of service, but he's working on scraps. Anis Mehmeti 6. I thought he was normal Anis performance levels. Harry Cornick, I'll go 6. Didn't really notice him too much. Naki Wells, I'll go 5 because it's Naki Wells. I'm joking. I just thought he was really poor. Scott Twine, who has now appeared finally. 6. It's fine. And nothing for Pringy and for Tanner. Liam Manning, you forgot about him. I'll go first. Liam Manning, actually. I'll go 5 because I thought the game plan was fine, but as soon as that goal goes in for Albion, the game plan has to change, and it just didn't look like it did change.
I agree. And just the fact that I know it's the players as well, but the fact that the way they played through us and they mostly dominated that game, especially in the second half. Yeah, I go 5 as well. And on the subject of Liam Manning as well, I mean, we talked about him earlier and our thoughts, and then we've got a Manning outer.
Can we talk about Can we talk about the Southampton game and the West Ham game? Yeah, can we talk about how good that was, or is that going to trigger a few people as well? Yeah, I think the average. I haven't done the averages because I'll do it later. Or I could do it now. I'll do it now. Comment. So the average for Matiss. Insert formula function average. Was 5.77 to 3 sig fig. For me, the average was and the average was 5.84. 83. 3 significant figures.
Okay.
So you
I'd say that's about right.
So you are slightly below me, but it's very marginal, the differences. Just to properly go on Kieran's comment because I don't actually notice him what he said. At the game yesterday, to call it abysmal was an understatement. Manning needs to go, and the only reason he is in a job is because we won against Swansea. The only reason he is in a job is not because we won against Swansea, I think. Again, I get your frustrations, totally. I'm equally as frustrated that this at the moment is not working. But it's but I think it might. I think hopefully, given time, money, it will work. Prove your arrogance and delusion if you're using the West Ham game to win. That was sarcasm, Kieran. I don't. Yeah, mate. Just go on Twitter for 5 minutes on City Twitter, and you'll notice how much if you're using the West Ham and Southampton game, it's a bit of sarcasm, Kieran. It's all right. Just calm down. But yeah, I don't think the only reason he isn't. I think a large. If it was 6 defeats in a row, that's sackable form, isn't it, for any manager? Maybe not if you're Klopp or Pep, but still, most managers, most normal managers, it's sackable form. And especially with the way we've been playing, and that Swansea game could have easily been a 1-0 defeat, and no one would have really been like, "Oh, that was like so undeserved. We should have won that game," etc., etc. But still, there's a growing concern, not necessarily in terms of results, but performances are huge. I think that's a main concern, because if results were the main concern, we would be like in the bottom 3 or closer to the bottom 3. And that's not the main concern at the moment. The concerns of results, the way we're playing and the style of play, nothing's going for us. And that's the main issue, I think. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. All right. Kieran just put another one in. We talked about, if you want to go at the end, we talked about our thoughts as well, but just sacking him won't make anything better, to be honest. And since he's come in for Pearson, I don't think things have improved massively, but I've seen more positives in games, and I know it's a select few. We've been on terrible form. If it doesn't change around, if it doesn't turn around in the relative near future, I think obviously Leicester will be a very tough game. Then yeah, we'll have some problems, but he needs a proper good transfer window and to try and implement his style of play. I think obviously at the time of Pearson sacking, well, we all mentioned it was probably the wrong decision, but bringing in someone new now just won't help, and I don't think the board will sack anyone. So yeah, I mean we mentioned earlier, but yeah, we're not happy now with the performances, with the form, but I still don't think it's enough to sack him right now, and I think that would be really a mistake.
Kieran, he is awful, infuriates me. Sorry, how he never claims responsibility. 80% of the fan base want him gone and should have never been appointed in the first place.
So wait, can I, before you go on, do you think we should have kept Pearson for this season then, in terms for Kieran, or do you think someone else should come in? Just ask it, and then yeah, you can.
You have put a bullet on my. You've put a gun to my head.
No, for this for Kieran, but you can answer as well.
Okay, I mean, yeah. All right.
Well, okay, it is a question.
Kieran, you can answer that one. You can be put on the spot. I don't want to be put on the spot.
I mean, in terms of 80% as well, I don't think it's 80% of the fan base at the moment. It is?
Yeah, it's probably more than that at this point. The amount of comments I've been seeing is ridiculous. This is more than when Nigel Pearson was going on that bad run last year. Like, this is like, I get, fan discontent can go away with a couple of results, especially with a new manager. But this is seriously bad. This is like one of the worst I've seen. It's a lot of discontent, which is fine, which is fair, but still, I think a lot of it is overreaction. And for example, what I mean by overreaction is when I see people saying, "Oh, Manning is a yes man." I think I put this out on Twitter actually. I said, "Well, this is the same guy. If this is the same guy that what was I going to say? Same guy who wanted basically half the Oxford squad gone, and he wanted a complete rebuild. So he's not a yes man. I don't think they would have hired him for a yes man per se. I think there's a lot of questions about Brian Tinian, isn't there? There's a lot of question about what he actually does. I'd say I'm a little bit as miffed as well. there's a lot of question. There's a lot of blame on his door, and there's a lot of kind of synchronization. Is that the word, isn't it? Between him and the kind of recruitment, isn't there? And that, and the next step, and naturally, a lot of question about the Lansdowne, Steve Lansdowne, John Lansdowne, and whether they can actually, what do they want for this football club? So there's a lot of questions. You know what? I think if we want, we can do a pod in the middle of this international break, just to talk about Liam Manning on his own, because I think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. So we can do that if you guys want to. I would have kept Pearson until the end of the season, and if he doesn't stay, then fair enough. We didn't win a lot, but we were hard to beat and drew a lot. There was passion under Pearson, like Manning. I have to say, I didn't see that passion at Cardiff away, or against Ipswich at home, or Stoke at home, for that matter, when we had a relatively decent. That's not having a go against you, Kieran. I know what you mean in terms of Manning's post-match press conferences at the moment are really dull. Even though I'm not going to deny that, but still, I just think this needs time, to be quite frank, and I think that's where I draw.
I agree with keeping Pearson to the end of the season, but I mean, it's long gone. That decision has been made. I thought it was the wrong moment, but we look at Pearson and he was not the right man to take us to that next level. And I think obviously he did a great job, but something needed to change. And will Manning be that person? We don't know, but look, realistically, he's not going to be sacked anyway. I don't think so, unless we really go on some poor run of form, but we'll pick up some results. And we just have to get behind him, really. And in terms of passion, I don't see an immense difference, really.
Passion merchants going to win us the league. No footballing ability, just pure passion merchants.
We were really mediocre under Pearson as well. We were a relatively hard team to beat, but weren't that special. But in some glimpses, I've seen some potential with Manning, but it does need to start to turn around now, and things have to change. But I'm not Manning out just yet. But no, I do understand where you're coming from there.
No, I totally understand. If Manning continues like this first 6 games of the season, so where would that take us to? September? 6 games, end of September, maybe, perhaps. He needs to go. We'll cross that bridge when it comes to it, and depending on how this summer transfer window goes, because that is absolutely humongous for Bristol City and for Liam Manning, and for John Lansdowne, and for Steve Lansdowne, and for Brian Tinian, and for the fan base, and for this current group of players, and for any new player who comes in. I think we can wrap it up on Liam Manning there, to be honest. I think, look, we can do a pod in the next week if we want to on Liam Manning, just talk about him a little bit more, because there's a lot to be said, isn't there? There's a lot to be discussed, and ultimately, a lot of questions, some positives. Just a lot to be talked about. We can talk about the quiz if you want to, because
we can leave. We'll leave Leicester preview for a pod.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do it in between, because we've obviously got an international break. And I would say against league leaders.
Do you want to talk about how Jude Bellingham, Phil Foden, Harry Kane, who else? Bukayo Saka. Oh my God, that England team is ridiculous. Declan Rice.
That England team is ridiculous. Well, we can actually talk about the Euros eventually as well. But wait, Kieran has come back in. Luckily, the teams underneath us are awful at the start of the season, or we would be in trouble. QPR, Sheffield Wednesday have looked a better side than us.
Okay, buts and maybes with all of that, really. QPR and Sheffield Wednesday didn't have the same manager at the start of the season, and they would be mid-table, I think, if they were they did. But
Yeah,
that's not the point. If buts and maybes, I don't think we would have sacked. I don't think we would. I think Pearson would have been gone a lot earlier if we were in a relegation battle with QPR and Sheffield Wednesday started their start their form earlier. Anyway, that's not the point. Let's talk about the quiz because I think that we just wrap the bow tie around Manning's topic. Who went first last week in the quiz? By the way, if you want to go, that's one of the answers. Thank God. That would have been really stupid if I just went like that. There's the answer for you. No. Yeah, if you want to get involved in the live chat on the quiz, then please do feel free. We'll literally just ask each other a question. It could be worth 1, 2, 3, how many other points. And yeah.
What's the tally right now? Is it 2-2 all or?
So I got 2 points. You've got 2 points. So it's 2 all. There you go.
Sure.
Yeah. So we'll ask each other a question, and we'll give both of us answer. Do you want to go first? Do you want to ask first?
Go on. Okay. I've got no, I think I asked first last week, so you can ask the first one for the. Yeah, you go first. You go first.
Okay, all right, no worries.
And yeah, get in the comments below as well. I'll give you answers, but I won't look at the comments.
That's poor from you.
I won't. I've gone full screen.
Right. This is similar to the Swansea game and to the game before that, which was what's the game before Swansea? Cardiff? Ipswich. Might have been Ipswich. No, Cardiff. The last pod was Cardiff before Swansea. This is about ex-Bristol City / current Bristol City players out on loan at West Brom, actually. So you can guess who that was. Andy Weimann, ex-Bristol City, current Bristol City, technically on loan, but he's not going to be here next season. How many goals did he score in the league for Bristol City? And I'll give you a error margin either way.
What in that season or this year?
No, in his
all time. Oh, okay.
How many goals did he score for Bristol City in the league all time? I'll give you an error margin of 3 either way. So if the answer is 100, 97, and 103, I'll give you anything between that. Included, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, comment. I can't see the comments, but right. So he was with us like 5, so we could like 10, 20, 10, 8. I don't know why I said 8. I feel like he reached the 50 mark just before he left. I might be wrong. I might have got the wrong player there, but I feel like that happened, and I feel like it was the Watford game, or maybe that was appearances. Might have got that wrong. Maybe he hasn't even passed 50.
In 4 years, he'd been out the door by now.
Oh yeah, no, it can't be. It must have been. It must have been that. I can remember something.
I'll help you out a little bit.
I remember an Instagram post.
I think he racked up 201, maybe 200 plus appearances for City.
Yeah, maybe not 50 appearances. But the league as well. So we're not including any in cup goals. But to be honest, it's not like he's going to score a lot of cup goals. Okay. I'm going to go for 48.
You are so lucky. That is not.
Did I get it?
That is not correct. That's not the correct answer, but it was 51.
Let's go.
Minus 3 is 48.
I'd say that.
And it is all inclusive. So
because I thought I remember he hit the 50, but then I minused a couple goals because maybe a couple cup goals throughout the.
I think he hit 50. Might hit the 50 against Watford. Might have been 50 against Watford.
That's the point.
No. Right, your question. I'll go full screen. I'll ignore the comments are there. So yeah, go on. Ask your question, please.
Okay. Right. So it's I don't know if anyone's seen the kind of the transfer TikToks where this question is about transfer of a Bristol City player.
Oh God. Okay.
It might be a bit outrageous, but I'll give you 2 points if you get it straight away, and then I'll give you a hint, and then if you get it, then you get 1 point. So in the 2019-2020 season, a player was transferred to Bristol City. God, I gotta find it. From, I think I have to name the club. From Bologna in Serie A for the price of €2 million. Who is that player?
Adam Nagy.
Okay. Fair enough.
That was quite
I thought-
a good question.
I shouldn't have said Bologna.
Because you said 2019-20. I was like, oh, so recent, so it's fresh in my memory. So I was like,
okay, damn. I thought it'd be harder than that.
Sad. Mate, I remember Adam Nagy. I know Adam Nagy like the back of my hand. He's best player to ever put on a City shirt.
I should have just said. I shouldn't have said the club. Okay, fair enough. I thought you would have forgot. I thought you would have forgot Bologna. I thought you forgot.
Should have said midfielder. I would have found that a little bit harder actually. So what? 2 points for me. So that puts 4 points.
Why did I make that 2 points?
4 points for me.
I really did. I thought you would have forgot Bologna.
3 points for you. 4 points for me. 3 points for you. Respect. No, respect. Jose Mourinho once said. Right, that will do us for this edition of the 18
Wait, before we go, last thing before we go, always happens as a tradition on here. We always talk about our fellow Bournemouth players up in the Premier League. Antoine Semenyo is
so good.
He's one of the best players on the wing. He's just insane. So I'm sorry, he just scored 2 goals to equalise and win at Bournemouth against Luton. If he
goes to like Real Madrid for £100 million, I can safely say I got a picture with £100 million player.
Oh yeah, because you met him in like a supermarket, right?
More, but yeah, I did. Yeah, he's quite good. Alex Scott was dragged off at half time, wasn't he? Which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, he hasn't been playing a lot, so yeah, we'll have to see.
Mate,
but
we knew deep down, we knew he was terrible. We knew deep down he was a terrible footballer. No, seriously, hope he starts playing a lot more better because he started really well.
He got picks for the under-21s for England. So.
Oh, that under-21s midfield for England is ridiculous. Like
Mino's in there as well. Yeah.
Harvey Elliott, James.
Talking about Mino, what a game! What a game earlier! If anyone watched the FA Cup,
I watched
Manchester United. That was incredible.
I texted you, didn't I? I texted you saying, "Oh, should we do this a little bit earlier?" Because Liverpool. I said, well, Liverpool took the lead in the extra time, 3-2, and I said, "Oh, Liverpool going to hang on. So can we just do it a little bit earlier?" And then, like 5 minutes later, Man just started equalising. And I'm just going, right, okay, don't text about football games ever again. And then, actually, I was kind of right because Man United then went and took won the game in the 121st minute. Amad Diallo,
played in the Championship last year.
Young Player of the Year, as he said once. Surely you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and it was so daft. He got a red card as well. He took off his shirt, completely forgot he got a yellow, and then sent off. Well, they play Coventry, where we should have been in that game at home against Liverpool if we could finish against Nottingham Forest and then be in Man U, which definitely would have happened. But yeah, Semenyo is great, and that's the moral of the story.
Basically, yeah. Right, that will do us for this edition for the 89 podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in, wherever you are and however you're watching. Thank you very much. I didn't say whenever you are. Thank you. There you go. Wherever you're watching from, and yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. Keep safe, and we will catch you all hopefully maybe next week, if not pre-Leicester for sure. Thank you very much for tuning in, and yeah, have safe, keep safe, and catch you all later.